joining us today for another episode of What's Your Why Wednesday. Today, I am joined by the lovely Sema Rodriguez. She is a loan originator at First Option. All right, Sema, number one, thank you so much for joining us today. And I would like to kick us off with none of us come into the mortgage industry deliberately. None of us are going to school for it or have those dreams as a child of being a mortgage originator. But we arrive here and we stay here because it's tied to our personal and professional why. So Sema, please tell us, what is your why?
Hi, Laura. Thank you, first of all, so much for having me. It is a huge honor to talk to you today. Thank you so much. Okay, so how do we stay here? It is true that probably most kids do not dream about being a mortgage loan originator the way they maybe dream about being a firefighter or a police officer. We were just saying it's a very high-paced work environment. However, I would have to kick off my answer of this question immediately with something that is actually tied to my childhood. My why, or the reason why I wanted to learn, first of all, things like amortization, things like how to pay off faster your principal, like how do I own more of my house in a short time, roots from everything that my dad has taught me. So it had been a big goal of my parents, who, by the way, became parents relatively young compared to like what is normal now. Their biggest desire was to own a house, right? So I learned firsthand from my father, like, you know, the advantages of good credit, good saving skills, working towards something, gaining equity in your home, even taking out equity to improve your home, anything like that. So the home, like owning a house, being able to have a piece of land, being able to have your name on title is like a huge thing to me. Still is to this day, never ceases to amaze me until this day. We do loans for a lot of people, right? In many different life circumstances. It's always a win when somebody whose parents even never owned a home,
Yeah.
who never thought that they could, right? We all have the desire in us, and I think this hasn't changed much in the last millennia, maybe. Everybody has a desire to own a piece of land, a lot, a subdivision, something like that, okay? So going with these people through the process while managing, you know, borrower expectations, while educating people, trying to bring everybody to par when it comes to like, what does it actually take? Okay, like we take every day tens of calls with people asking, what is the criteria for me to even qualify for this? Okay, so bringing them up to par, explaining to them with the system that we live in, what they would have to bring, what they would have to do. And then actually seeing them at the closing table, seeing their kids. I know a lot of loan officers always say that, but kids they will do something special to you. They will definitely make sure that you know. So that would be my number one why. So it's of course the people. If you're a people person, if you care about the communities that you create, if you care about the area you live in and how you impact that with bringing homeowners there, with helping to form these communities, that's a big why. And I would definitely say also, the other one is the myth of being in the mortgage business and making your own hours.
You hear that a lot, but I haven't really seen too much of that.
So yeah, you do make your own hours, and your hours are 24/7. Welcome. No, but you can build if you stay at it, right? If you go with it, if you stay down with it, after the first year or two. I think that's always, I was lucky because I started like 2 years before the pandemic.
Oh, that's great.
So yeah, so our mortgage elders,
Mhm.
shout out to them, everybody at 2020, all our coaches, everybody with like that 20, 30 year plus in the industry, they always say, and this is, I think, why it's so important to listen to your elders too, which, like I said, Laura, that's you. Thank you so much. Like, it's a huge honor to be here with you and talk with you about this, and share the story. But I think I heard you say that too. People always say it changes.
Yeah.
It changes because, I mean, 20 years,
Yeah.
I'm in my 30s, that's
Mhm.
more than half of my life.
And that's a really good point, Sema. I mean, you're right. Every day we have the honor of turning people into homeowners or changing their life situation, right? Whether it's renovating their home or whether it's sending their kids to college or that addition. I mean, I know it's actually funny. This time of the year, I was thinking about something in my own personal situation where right about now, I added on to my home. It was 19 years ago. My
Mhm.
parents came to me and said, we've never owned a home. We have not enough money to retire in the state of New Jersey. Can we add on to your home so that we can have a
Wow.
place to live the rest of our lives? 19 years ago. Okay. And I think about that there's husband and wife, 4 kids, raised a family, hardworking, everything else, but never owned their own home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they couldn't retire, right? Because they couldn't afford to rent in New Jersey. Okay. By making people homeowners and changing lives. I remember taking out my second mortgage to add that addition on. That my parents all those years ago. Those are the stories that are happening every day,
Every
that
day.
people in the mortgage industry are changing lives.
And it is the person in the mortgage industry that is the one who brings your information level up to par. That's what I was saying, is like, you just need somebody to explain it to you, because
Yeah.
sometimes people do go 20 years without owning a home because nobody actually genuinely took out the time to explain it to them.
Yeah.
As simple as it sounds, but I mean, there are different barriers too, right? There's so many different people in real estate for the reason that there are so many different people out there that are in that market. When you fish in that pool of home buyers, you naturally attract the people that that you get what you're willing to give out. If
True.
you're willing to give out that information, and like, most simple example is like, go fix your credit,
Right.
go make 3 consecutive payments on the taxes that you owe. That's a 3-month outline. Some
Yeah.
people you work with 6 months, some people you work with 12 months, 2 years. I know people that didn't close until they had their first contact with their loan officer like 2 years ago. Okay, so really what we do is like just check in with people, just make sure that we
Yeah.
bring that information out there and give them that hope, right? Hope is like this whole big thing that we all live on, that is like totally underestimated if you look at it. On the other side, on like the career side of things, is like, okay, so best example, me, just like millions of other women in this country, I'm a single mom. Okay, so it's just me and my daughter. So that's why I was saying there's some flexibility. Well, at the end of the day, your kids are watching your every step. My daughter is 6. I guarantee you she absorbs more of my behavior, the way I carry myself, the way I talk on the phone to these people, explain them things and everything, than I could possibly imagine. Like, all kids have toys. My daughter has a corner in her room where she plays like whatever, real estate. Okay. So acting like she has a laptop. She built this little laptop, folded a piece of paper, put this on.
I love it.
When I work in the kitchen or in the living room, she'll go and sit on my laptop as soon as I get up, because she likes to like move around the mouse or anything. So I think that's the other very big why. And one thing the mortgage industry does for me that I have not previously experienced to my parents is like, it brings work really closely to home. Okay.
Oh,
because
yeah.
you are on the phone with these borrowers, you're over here telling them, you're over here discussing their divorce and their child support and their back owed taxes. I mean, anything that could come up, you know, bankruptcies, anything. So also with the pandemic and everything. So during the pandemic, my wife changed a little bit, Laura. So I had that for once also. I haven't been in the industry 10 plus years, 20 plus years, so it's different. But like when the pandemic hit, we all know nothing became more important than home. And the
Yep.
country flipped upside down one time all the way because now a lot of people realized, I was not included. I've been always one of those people, but like your house is your everything. When everything shuts down, this is the only place you got to
This
stay
home
besides
base is safe, right?
exactly. So this is like really where it's at. I was very blessed to grow up in a family where home and house has always been like one word, right? Like it is huge. Like you invest in your home, you make sure like that's one thing you work towards. And you know, we said buy a house, buy another one, buy another
Right.
one, buy another one. You know, that's like where it goes. You know, like it is the one thing that you want to achieve. And it is and always going to be the number one wealth driver in the
It
United
is.
States anyway. So that's anyways a given. But during the pandemic, you again realized. So what did we get to realize? We realized, which I'm pretty sure that has been already in big effect before, is like there's a shortage of inventory.
Yeah.
Okay. And a lot of people that now have to work from home. So besides the stress of everybody having to up their internet speed, so everybody can be at home, work, make money, go to school, graduate, and I don't know what not all, like self-development. The other thing is definitely just having that space, but with the shortage of inventory, now the loan officer gets this whole new role of like, let me team up with your realtor and let me try to win these offers for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So why was like really like people that been getting their rent raised, you know, and you tell them about, okay, this is how much you can afford for a mortgage. And they're like, well, I've been paying double of that since 6 months because they keep raising my rent. Okay. So there's so many external factors that come in here, right? Like landlords going crazy or taking advantage of the situation, people just feeling a lot of pressure, people being confronted with issues within their family, and family and home are so big things in our lives, right? It will influence you. So the why kind of changed there too. And when you're able to figure out like a strategy, how to really help these people, it makes you feel great. At the same time, being able to role model for my little girl, you know, trying to teach her this entrepreneurial space that the mortgage industry really is, you know, that is something. When my dad came home from work, he was home. You know, we don't have that. When my mom came home from work, she was home. So my daughter has this whole idea of running her own business at 6 years old, where I'm like, people in some old school people in the mortgage industry wouldn't even give you that entrepreneurial space. They would like, especially when you worked at a depository before, right? So what mortgage does is like, once you go like with a mortgage company that's truly all they do, you become this whole new person. I'm this whole new person. That's why we're here, right? That's why we're talking about this. That's how I got so blessed to win this Women with Vision award. You know, like I ended up there because I left the depository. I was like, there is more in mortgage than what you guys are trying to tell me here. I know it. I see it. I know there are people out there. I know there are women out there. They're absolutely killing it. You know, again, shout out to our trainers at 2020. It's just everything that they told me is not there, is there even bigger than I thought it is.
That's right.
Way bigger.
And it's only the beginning, right? It's only the beginning. Even.
And it's such a blessing to be part of that. I think it is. I mean, I do want to say at this point, Laura, we talked about this before, women like you, women like Christine, y'all paved this way, because I know there were not this many women in this industry before that. Okay.
But the whole thing, and it was our honor. It was our honor.
We are very thankful for you guys paving this way for us.
And understand that we appreciate that, you appreciate, and that is the reason why we are so passionate about continuing to spotlight as many women as we can, because we know that the more that we kind of push you guys along, you will lift up and of course, look behind you to pull others forward too, because
100%.
that's the ripple, right? That's what everybody needs, just like the families that we serve, right? The families that we serve, we help them, and then they become homeowners, and then their children become
Absolutely.
homeowners, right? And it becomes a normal within the family. It's the same thing, whether it's within our industry or whether it's the families we're serving. It all starts with us continuing to change the world by helping others. And we all know the whole reason why I started What's Your Why is because for my mortgage career, we always heard this perception out into the world of, oh, those mortgage people, they're just trying to charge this interest rate and they're going to charge you points and they're going to be very quick and take you. No, that's not what it is. We are people that care. We are people that are here to help their families and make a difference. And that's why I did this, because of all of you. I want everyone out there on the internet and out there in streaming world to see how great our industry is. And we should always continue to shine brightly within the world.
Absolutely, absolutely. I
All right,
couldn't.
Sema, I want to hear your story. I know everybody's got those million stories of those families that touch us, but my most favorite part is hearing give me a story. Give me one of those stories that's just special to you.
With borrowers that have,
Yes.
okay, so definitely there are so many, definitely so many. As somebody who has walked down that path before, like I said, different things happen to different people. I can say for myself, for example, when I got divorced and had to figure out how to survive here by myself in a foreign country after I followed a man here, not just somebody, my daughter's dad. I saw it as a good challenge to own my own house. So until this day, I love helping people that are like able to purchase something in their own name. So I remember this one lady. She was one of those people that let her husband deal with all of the finances.
Mhm.
Some people do that knowingly, some people do that unknowingly. Okay. She happened to be somebody who had put all her trust in him, right? And her credit was not up to par, nothing was up to par. So it took like a year to get her qualified, because basically the first thing she had to do was like tidy up all her mess, make sure she gets up again, make sure that she establishes lines of credit, that she just establishes credit in general, a savings account. With it goes, of course, like, spending habits, budgeting, and all
Yeah.
those. So when this woman, and she had 2 kids, when this woman was at the closing table, I really thought, like I made it. Like I really, I helped her make her a homeowner,
Yeah.
because I knew, since we look at people's finances all day, I knew that there's no way that she will have any sustainable things left over from her income after paying rent, after paying all those expenses. We all know, I have this one saying that everybody always thinks is so funny, when I'm like, the bank tells you you can't afford an $800 mortgage, that's why you pay $1,400 in rent.
Oh,
Because we all know you can't rent necessarily safely, cleanly, and up to date for $800,
no.
but you can have a mortgage or for that amount or less, and at least it is staying in your pocket, at least it is
Yep.
doing something for you. Okay,
It's
so
building wealth, right? It's building
well,
wealth.
exactly.
Mhm.
And at the end, she's going to have something that she can fall back on. Okay.
Correct.
Plus, she has these kids that she has to provide for.
Yep.
She's also like, going through this process, taking the right measures, and her kids are actively watching her.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to like tell your kids, mommy is working on her credit. Like, kids know what you're doing,
Yep.
so they see, they get the whole frequency of it. So that was like one of my biggest things. And in my conversations with her and everything, I knew, it clicked in her head. So I wouldn't wonder if she wouldn't like buy a second house and rent the one out that she's
Right.
in right now in like a couple of years, and I know
Right.
she remember me, because like that, sometimes people won't remember you after a transaction, especially if you managed to make it extra smooth. So they have no idea what we go through, the loops, the hoops, all those things, right? So that was like one big thing. And another family that definitely stayed in my mind was so people are super emotional about their houses,
Of
right?
course.
I had this gentleman, his wife passed away, so he
Oh,
didn't really feel the house anymore, right?
right.
So he was the one who was looking for something else. And he was one of those like 800 credit score, got 50% down on 2 months of bank statements. It's like, do you think I qualify? Like, yes, sir, you do qualify. You know, we have that too. But
But they don't know. That's the thing. Going back to the education,
that's
they
what I'm
don't
telling you.
know. Yeah.
It doesn't matter, like people with
Yeah.
$500,000 in the bank can question themselves if that's going to be enough. So because everybody has a different perception,
That's
right?
right.
Exactly. So it was in a neighborhood that, like I said, again, shortage of inventory. Okay, this is
Right.
already during the pandemic, and it's a part of Arkansas where there's a very, very good school district.
Mhm.
Okay, so it was this family. They had 4 kids. God bless them. Beautiful family, and they couldn't believe that this house was even available. That
Right.
somebody would even move out there. Okay, but like this gentleman
Right.
specifically, felt like
He
that.
wanted a change. Yeah.
Exactly. And he really, it kind of left his heart full too, that, his kids were grown.
Aw.
They were already parents by themselves. So the swap of houses, that's what I mean.
Aw.
Like the communities we influence with what we're doing, we are at the end of the day connecting people. If I
Yes.
help you win an offer, if I help you get in the specific house, if I help you figure out, someone else might have said the property taxes there are too high.
Mhm.
Someone else said I gladly paid it because I have 4
Yeah.
kids to attend that school district. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we have like a whole different vision on these things than most people. Okay, like it goes so much deeper than just the house. Okay,
Correct.
so these 4 kids being able to move in that school district during this pandemic, versus this other man going to somewhere that was much more suitable for his living circumstances. Those are like 2 examples of many that I could like.
But you're right. I mean, that's life-changing stories, right? I mean, like you said, and that is a beautiful story about the family with the 4 children, because you're right. This older gentleman, his kids went through that system, right? And he had so many happy memories, but it was time for him to
It
move
was
on.
time.
And now the next generation came in to enjoy that home and
Right.
that community. And
Right.
that really does kind of visualize, right, what's happening every day. But going back to that, it is the listening, and it is the getting to know our clients and understanding, right, what their needs are and how we can help them. And it is personal. You mentioned emotional. It's emotional. Yes, your home and your family and your finances, that all is emotional. And I mean, I hate to say it, Sema, but I mean, that's why I do believe it's so important for women to be in this industry, because we get that. We understand like how to nurture those relationships with those families to be able to make sure they're taken care of and guided through.
I could not agree more, because, in my conversations with the realtor, so it ended up being all the same realtor, because, it was another girl, another powerhouse,
Yeah.
Also somebody with like heightened sensitivity for the issue. So that's why,
Yeah.
anyways, I preferred to work with her. I was happy to work with her. And you see how then out of one deal becomes like 2
Yeah.
and then 3. That's just how it happens. So that's almost like the law of attraction, right? Like you pour something good in. I like to say it's like, whatever you pour in, you will get matched.
Yes.
As much effort
And then some.
forward, exactly. And then some, thankfully that's like a big blessing. But like with these families, it makes such a difference. It just makes such a difference to the point where because we try to figure out between the lines what these people really want, because many times people come and say,
they don't know. They don't even know. They don't even know what they want sometimes. So you're exactly right.
They sometimes don't. And I tell my borrowers all the time, I'm like, you're going to know as much about this as I know.
Right.
Okay. Like I'm going to tell you everything I know, and then we're going to make a decision together. Okay.
Yep.
So it's basically that. And it's so many little factors that just make one big happy picture, and we need it.
I agree.
We deal with enough during the day. Okay. So
But that's what gets us through we kind of have to weed through, some of the struggle getting there.
we won't tell you guys what we all did to make this happen, but if you found the perfect match, then we will do whatever it takes for you to get there.
Exactly. All right. So you're what, 4 years into the industry? 4? Okay. So you're 4 years in. Take me into the future. Take me into now. You're the elder, Sema. All right. Now
Oh my God, that's a few years up there.
All right. You're now on that side. All right. I want to know, what difference do you want to make in our industry? What would you want to leave behind to our industry?
I have to honestly answer this question. An honest answer would be something that I envision, or something that I would wish for, is like a lot of boss ladies together. I really like that. I feel very good in the company of a bunch of badass women. Honestly, I just have to say how it is, because like if you know the mortgage industry, I assume that when people listen, on your channel to these interviews, that they're somehow affiliated with our industry.
They are.
So they should know what it takes every day.
Yeah.
So this everyday thing can only be stemmed by people. And Laura, I'm 100% with you when I say, us women do make a difference, because I've seen the differences.
I agree.
I know for a fact, and I've worked for many men, while they had amazing qualities that I admire, I learned from, I respect deeply. I know that in our specific industry, I do believe that it takes good women and good leadership.
I agree.
Our industry is extremely fast-paced, and what most people would call highly, highly stressful. Mm-hmm. It's very stressful. So you showing up every single day, and the way you show up, the way you handle all of these challenges, all of these things that you can control, all of these things that you can influence, all of these third parties that you have to rely on, because no, you can't go out there and, go and perform the appraisal or the inspection or any of these things. So I know for a fact, and First Option Mortgage is really good about this. It's just a good home for me. It takes women with uber leadership qualities. And right. I do believe, again, it goes all back to matching. I'm one of those annoying people. I'm in my 30s. When I see girls in their 20s, I automatically start telling them, look, this is what we did. This is how I did it. This is what you can do. This is the possibility that you have. Mm-hmm. Some love it. Some are like, what is this? What is this lady?
Some are not ready yet. That's the whole thing.
Everybody's at a different pace.
Correct.
I do believe that there is some flexibility, and there's great role model potential. There's great potential for your own legacy, especially if you live in like smaller cities. I know that through my job, my daughter is going to have different possibilities because her mom paved the way for her, right? So, and I would love, love, love to be a blessing to other women the way the woman before me had been a blessing to me. That's how I came to the mortgage industry. A sales manager at my former bank had seen me, and she said, and she had brought in somebody that she had previously worked with. And this lady met me at onboarding, and she was like, you would be perfect in the mortgage business. I'm like,
look at that.
And I was in the mortgage business, and I was in the United States already, anyways, at that point, maybe 2 years.
Wow.
So I was like, mortgages in America. You know, like literally,
Right.
I'm like, I don't know, you know, we don't do it quite like this in Europe.
No.
Anyhow, so I am the product of a woman having faith in me. Clearly, two women that saw me and they were like, oh my God, because they love to see something in me that they liked. Instead
That's
of
right.
looking down, could be a possibility, instead of being annoyed, instead of being intimidated, instead of anything, no, they reached out a hand to me and brought me into this industry. When I tell this to them, this is, by the way, Cindy and Darla, I hope they're watching it. When Cindy and Darla did that to me, and when I tell them that today, they're like, well, you took your own role with it. And I was like, okay, but you roped me in.
They opened the door,
They did.
right?
They really did.
Yes, you had to decide to walk through, but they opened the door for you.
100%. And I know that since we spend all our lives at work, and since we spend all our times at work, I know that that is my mission too, you know, like get the next girl on board.
That's
Okay.
right.
And what happens is when women collaborate on that level, and I can say that out of own experience at my own office, is like, your kid is sick, go.
And
Go handle your business.
and it should be that way.
You
Mhm.
are going to be 20 times stronger. You're going to be
Yes.
20 times more happy. Okay.
Yeah.
You have an upset borrower. Let me talk to them.
Right.
You know, as your whatever LOA processor, whatever you need me to be.
Just to have a different voice.
Exactly. Because we have the emotional intelligence.
Yes.
To take people on their hand and walk them through this process.
Correct.
That is usually like 30 days and everybody loses their mind on average.
And that's the thing, Sem, is that years ago, like when I came into the mortgage industry, everybody believed that loan officers had to be men because it was all about selling rates. It was all about selling a loan amount or selling points, right? It was always about how many points could you charge. That whole world is different. It's not anything to do with that anymore. That is like such a small, teeny piece now. Now it is about education. It's about guiding. It's about you use the word emotional intelligence. It's about keeping that family calm, knowing what's going to happen next, letting them go through that scary, overwhelming process. So we had it all wrong years ago. It should have never been about selling points or selling the interest rate or any of that. But for me, like, I can honestly say, I've watched this change. I've watched this shift happen, and we've got a long way to go. We're nowhere near where we need to be. We have a long way to go, but we've now recognized that the women, not only can they sell the rate and whatever, all that, but they can also handle the other component, the part about guiding and education and nurturing and emotional intelligence, and it's everything. So yes, I love hearing the stories, what you just said about opening the door, you know, Darla and Cindy, I think you said, Darla and Cindy, when you tell, I love hearing that, because we all, my woman was Catherine Barber. So that was my woman. And I think I even told that story at the summit of this woman. In my mind, this 40-year-old woman, when I was 20 something years old, early 20s, and this I think I mentioned it, this beautiful woman with the blonde hair that had a Mercedes convertible for the summer and a Jeep for the winter. And she had this, and I'm like, one day I'm going to be that woman.
That is gold.
I have the convertible. I was like, I'm going to be that woman. And I think I even mentioned this there. You have to make sure we always thank those women. Like, and just like you did, like, we have to thank those women. We have to write them letters. We have to speak their names. We have to tell others, because those women changed our lives. Yes. And we're affecting other women's lives now. And to keep that. So I love that you want that to be your future, give
I
back.
could not desire to be anything more. I'm talking here, Laura, and I want to mention this here real quick. Cindy, I was talking about, started with mobile homes.
Okay.
Okay. Moved her family state to state for like personal reasons or whatever, and figured out mortgages by the handbook by herself.
Wow.
Today, when I have an Encompass issue, I will ring the alarm bells. You
Wow.
better believe that. So I'm like, I have a software issue. What is going on? Call the police, call the firefighters. And these women literally didn't have the CRM systems we have today, don't have the
No.
flawless backup and
Yep.
technology, software, everything that we use, right? Everything
Yep.
that we try to stay on top with, try to stay on top of the market, do our research. They didn't have any of these end systems, okay? And they managed to bring flawless experience without drip campaign emails,
Yeah.
without all these
Yeah.
things that we have at our disposal. Like, it is so crazy. Every time has their own challenges, but I'm talking like these women took a lending manual,
Yeah.
and did it, okay? And they still had the grace, the time, the love, the divinity in them to bring others along with them, even years later. So you are
That's beautiful.
yeah, you are just as good as the people you surround yourself with. So big shout out to
Exactly.
them. And like I said, it is an honor to follow these women. And I really just think that we're following our purpose with doing something good for our own development. And that's really what mortgage brings. Like, you can highly develop yourself, your skills, your tactics, everything, while you are doing good out there.
Agree.
So that is like a career that is like kind of unmatched for me. Okay.
Agree.
So
I
yeah,
love it. Well, Sema, you've given us so many wonderful nuggets. We love you. We thank you so much for sharing everything that you just did, because it really does touch me and means a lot to all of us. So you keep shining brightly out there, my friend, and helping all those families. And we wish you well always.
thank you so much, Laura, for having me. It was so fun talking to you.